Welcome one, welcome all to another live stream. Chain Reactions Live, the show you love, the show you watch, the show you adore, is how at least I like to think about it. The show run by marketers that breaks open all of the marketing around you. I'm your host, Arnav, head of media here at Myosin, and I have two lovely gentlemen with me today who will be co-hosting the show, giving you knowledge, entertaining you for the next 90 minutes. You might not watch football. The World Cup might have ended, but this show is going strong, and you're going to enjoy it. Shay, Matt, thank you so much for being here today, guys. Lovely to have
Pleasure
you.
to be here.
Likewise.
Well, how's the nerves, guys? How does it feel to be on Chain Reaction Live?
Pretty good. There's some psychedelic looking color in the background that's piercing my eyeballs, but I'm very excited.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling being compared to football players is a large task. I hope to be the Maradona. Is that correct?
Nice.
It's a live show. You gotta pump it up in that context. So
There you go. The Messi of reactions. That's my goal.
yes, absolutely. Well, we got a pretty chill episode today, guys. Not so chill in terms of the stories we have to get into, because they are anything but that. However, we have two special appearances on the show, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to do another round of Chopped and Bussin', which Matt and Shane are in for a ringer because they have no idea how that game's going to flow. And I'm excited about catching them off guard on it. Well, let's get into the first story of the day, which is going into water cooler. First story of the day is Reddit. And essentially, they're losing their shit at the moment because essentially Reddit made deals with OpenAI and Google for about $60 million a year to give them access to the gold mine of data that exists on the different. There is a subreddit for literally anything and everything on planet Earth. And they've given them access to that for 60 million. And these AI companies are perceivably making way more money than 60 million a year. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Reddit is sweating is the feeling that a lot of people are getting. And I'm curious to know, because last week we spoke about this story where a lot of the Gen Z, about 80% of them, go to Reddit as a source of truth to really, inform a lot of the buying decisions they're making on a daily basis. So I'm curious to know, how do you look at a lot of these social media platforms that don't have their own native AI at the moment, but are thinking about data is really the gold rush more than anything else, and getting access to good, high quality data that people trust in is even harder. And now Reddit essentially gave its armory away to Google and OpenAI, and now is second guessing it. Do you feel like we see more deals like this? Do you feel like essentially a lot of the social media platforms themselves do more of this? Maybe try out to build their own open source models? Give me your raw thoughts on this one. Matt, let's start with you. You're the hive mind guy or the AI person in the team. So
I'm also a veteran Redditor as well. So I'm a little close to the story as I've been Redditing for over a decade now. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's definitely, data, but also just more specifically, human behavior, right, is becomes incredibly valuable as this arms race continues to take off. In terms of Reddit, I don't fully buy. Maybe I'm being optimistic here, but I don't fully buy that Reddit is selling to moat, right? Because it's selling like the transcript essentially. But in my opinion, the living and breathing conversations on the platform is actually the real moat, because Reddit is not just a database of answers, right? It's a pipeline to the communities that I actively want to participate in, right? So yeah, AI can replace it as a lookup tool, but it has a much harder job replacing it or going around it, right, as an intermediary when it comes to Reddit as a place, right? Because users don't always visit communities like Reddit for maximum efficiency, right? Like they want to view, people like me want to visit it because they want texture and participation, right? So like let's say I want to find out like what's a good backpack for short guys or whatever, right? Like AI can find the top answer to that. But a big thing that I'm looking at when I go to the subreddit is I want to see the back and forth. I want to see competing answers, right? I want to see tangents and jokes and how the community ultimately reaches a consensus or doesn't reach a consensus, right? And so I think what's interesting is we'll see kind of what the ad products ultimately become, which is where I think they're in a transition period on. But at the end of the day, you can summarize the top answers, but it's almost impossible for these AI platforms and for platforms like Google to reproduce the actual word.
Yeah, I also think like it's the sense of understanding of there's a really fascinating research that we'll get into that Rand Fishkin and Spark Toro got into. That's a story later, so stay tuned for that. But essentially, I want to understand from you, especially building HiveMind, you've actually seen firsthand as to how an AI responds to the data that's getting fed into it and what kind of quality comes out of it, right? So whenever somebody goes on a Chat GPT or a Google AI, Gemini, or just the AI mode that they have now, and thinks about a buying decision, like, hey, I am X and X, this is my weight, this is my height, this is what I generally use my shoes for. What shoes am I buying? And then essentially Google is now thinking about not just the Google search results, but the data that it has from Reddit. And now Reddit is thinking, oh shit, we're a social platform. We want people to come on our platform, not go on Google AI or ChatGPT to make their buying decisions. But now the story has changed. Shane, tell me, from your perspective, you obviously speak to a lot of the geniuses here at Myosin who build some really crazy AI tools, by the way. Myosin Learns, people, you should go check it out. Shane is an amazing host, and he hosts even more amazing people on that show. But yeah, Shane, give me your thoughts on this one. What do you feel like the quality of output? Because we've assumed the fact that the better quality data you feed into training your models, the better the output of that model is going to be. But by the nature of LLMs, they're going to go towards the median or the mean in terms of the kind of output that it's giving that is the best for everybody. The level of personalization that you get on a larger scale, unless you've really fine-tuned the model, isn't that much. So like from your perspective, because you've spoken to a lot of people who have built their own tools and gotten some great results out of it, what do you feel like this move really indicates, or this sweating that Reddit is having at the moment? What does that indicate?
Yeah, I'd say it's, well, a few things. It's kind of the short-termism versus long-termism framing. Like they have taken a bunch of money, and it's a decision based on the fact that how valuable will that data be to advertisers if they'd remained exclusive, and how valuable will Reddit be for both its users and to LLMs in the future. And by that, I mean, like when you go to Reddit, it's still very valuable, but there's a lot of sort of product positioning. There's accusations of LLM feeding or writing different posts. So there is a potential threat down the line where the actual value, the actual inherent value of Reddit is decreased. And so from that perspective, maybe selling the data now is jumping ahead of that. On the other hand,
yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No, on the other hand, it's just like right now, the value is in what Matt was saying, the community, the discussion, seeing different perspectives. And if that platform can keep that pure and keep that from being a cesspit of AI slop, then it will retain its value.
Yeah. Do you also feel like, I think about a lot of the companies, because social media is one element of that, right? Obviously, they have large amounts of data, and obviously they are a big part of the process for a customer in their buying process, because there are millions of touch points that you can have over there with it. But I think about going outside of social media. Think about like security companies, or like, how should I put it? Maybe logistics companies. Like essentially the boring, what at least in the traditional sense is considered boring. The amount of data they have. Like think about how much data FedEx has on like activity when it comes to global trade, or the kind of data points they have access to across the board. And now somebody like FedEx is sitting there and thinking, should I be making deals with OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and maybe turn that into a revenue source for us? Or do you feel like the data conglomeration's only on the social media side and not going out of it? I'll leave this to both of you. I would love to know what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, I think that it's, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, there's a gold rush on training data right now, across the board, and I think there's value in lots and lots of these different platforms and companies and whatnot. One of the things, though, that these social media platforms and these communities have, that's unique is not just information and knowledge, but also understanding and teaching the AI how people actually talk and joke and stumble and recover and interact like a person. As we've all seen over the last couple of years, these AI companies are working really hard to try to make their AI not just smarter but also more human. And that's something that a company like Reddit, has, that's really valuable beyond just the information itself. So I think yes, like these other kind of companies that are more specialized have value to give, but there's a reason why the Reddits of the world are of particular value, I think, to these Googles and the OpenAIs of the world.
Shane, what about you?
Yeah, on the security and broader data question, I think it depends on, like, the data is very valuable. Security obviously is one of the most foundational components of everything we're getting into. So hugely valuable. It just kind of depends on, I guess, the ethics of the companies who are willing to provide it. And I think time and time again, when we've seen companies who are up against it, when they're offered the big bucks, they are likely to sell. There's very few Wikipedias in this world. There's a lot more companies that are there to make profit. So yeah, I can really see a world where, if it's not happening already, companies with a lot of valuable data are going to sell them to the LLMs very quickly.
Or maybe they might just already be doing it if they use something like Cloud Code.
Being like stolen already.
Yeah, if
stolen.
it's not stolen already.
And that might be a calculation from the companies, like, at least let's make a bit of money off of this. Otherwise, it's going to be taken from us. And there's no kind of legal established laws around this. So we're really operating in a gray area.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally. I also think that, we're seeing so much AI washing across every kind of company and corporation in the world. Everyone's trying to attach their business to this massive AI economy that's taking over our whole world. And so if selling your data to these companies gets you in the headlines, with AI attached to it, like, in some ways that, I think a lot of companies see that as a feature, bug, because now they're an AI company that's participating in this economy. And, there's an attempt to spin that as we're at the cutting edge of this new economy.
But it's a reputational risk, In a lot of circles, AI is a dirty word, and especially if you are selling your data. And I mean, this Reddit question is selling the data of people who contribute to the platform who didn't have a say over where their data was going. So you have to play with that risk. Is the money worth it? Can you spin it in a way that's positive, or will you suffer from the reputational risk down the line?
I also think like a lot of companies are currently internally debating, even in the Reddit case, So I think there was a SVP who came out and essentially said this particular quote, but he did also mention, and Reddit's team has been internally debating a lot about the fact whether deals like this make sense or not. So one is a revenue play, which is okay, but I also think about what's not talked about in this story, which is for companies that are utilizing AI at scale, like at scale that they have never utilized any other tool before, right? If you're using a CRM or if you're using Google Docs, the idea of your data feeding a LLM is fairly new, right? And they're thinking about how do we balance security, privacy with convenience or with the value that you're getting out of it. And that's been a constant debate for the past 6 months, where companies like Uber came out saying like, hey, we've spent all the tokens that we were allocated to spend for 2026, and we don't see the results out of it. And they're just not one case, but probably the most notable one where a lot of companies are coming out and saying the same thing. So I think about what is the middle ground. Where is it like data deals like this may or may not happen, but largely speaking, for somebody's day-to-day, when they're thinking about the data they have access to and thinking about how much AI they're utilizing and how that data is being utilized to train Anthropic, so you're dumping your hard-earned experience of years and years and years into an LLM model that's just going to commoditize you away. And they're debating whether it even makes sense to do that or not. So, interesting perspective on that. Well,
and I think from a user's perspective, people should think long and hard about where they stand on this, because you are making a choice. You are making a choice by, let's say, using Claude on the desktop and letting it search for your files, or connecting different folders through like your connectors or MCPs, whatever. And you just need to be conscious that you're willing to make that trade-off. Is the convenience of it worth it? In many cases, it's not. In some cases, it is.
Yeah. These are the kind of things that make me wish that crypto and blockchain went in a different direction. Because the ability to have provenance and to track where data came from and ultimately pay people, like, there's always this part in the back of my mind that thinks like there could have been a really interesting blockchain solution when it comes to attribution of knowledge and training data. But crypto's focused on some other things right now. So that might just be a pipe dream in my head.
There are still a strong community of privacy preserving people who are building impressive tools. So hopefully, we can amplify.
Hopefully that becomes mainstream. And really, what I love about this whole AI arms race is people have actually become extremely cognizant about the fact that they need to care about privacy.
Totally.
And things that crypto people have been harping on for 10 plus years, and people have just realized, oh, what is happening exactly? So all the personal conversations I'm having with my LLM aren't actually private, and there are, that can be used against me or can be detrimental to me and my well-being. Well, that's the moment people start caring about privacy a shit ton more.
Sorry.
Which is the perfect segue for the next story. So I'm going to jump on that one. Right. So Twitch and Amazon are apparently planning to use streams to train generative AI. Now, this is not something that's officially been announced, but there was a whole debate on Twitter about this specific moment. So let me break the story down for you so it makes sense. Essentially, the idea is that creators that were on Twitch live streaming, they don't really have to be concerned about their so-called IP, which is essentially all the content they're making, their aneurysms, their little things that they do on the stream itself, that being commoditized away towards generative AI. And again, goes back to the data discussion that we were having. It's just that these stories are bringing up discussions that people probably never thought about before. Like a creator thinking about what is my IP is probably a discussion that comes around when a creator reaches a stage where they're doing brand deals or they have made something of themselves. Now when you're just streaming on Twitch for fun, but you do not want to be, taken advantage of by feeding all your hard work into generative AI, and then you have essentially no rights over it. You're not licensing it away. Just you're using Twitch, so voila, your data goes into AI. And now creators were scrambling over the past 1 week, figuring out how can we protect ourselves. Like a lot of people got lawyers and were actually thinking about IP very deeply, which in the creative sphere, again, nothing new. Midjourney got into a couple of cases themselves on them using like original work from artists without attribution and without credit, and just using it in the ad models. And now it seems like we're going to do the exact same thing on video, and we're going to do the exact same thing on a lot of different platforms. So talk to me about, I'll start with you, Shane. Think about the idea of all the content that you make and you post being commoditized away to AI, and essentially you not even knowing that that's happening. Number one. Number two, you have no say in stopping that. It's just the platforms that you're on. That's the reality you got to live with. How does that make you feel, first of all?
Obviously not great. And there's the other element to it is you're not compensated for what you're doing. And that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that the cap of Shane's anger because he's on live stream?
No, furious. I'd be turning over tables right now, but it might wreck the show. I'm not on Twitch, so maybe the anger is slightly subdued.
But yeah, the same thing could happen with YouTube too.
On principle, yeah. I was a journalist prior to this, and I could see that being the case in that industry. Like journalists do the hard work, the hard graft on the ground, interviewing people, and then there's so many companies that are using that information and making money off of it. So I've been through this sort of thing before, and it is extremely frustrating. I expect it'll be other companies that will compete with Twitch in a way that pays the creators, and that will be their USP. And I celebrate that. But I don't feel that it's going to be difficult to get a ton of creators together to shift the direction. I'm not super confident about that happening, but I hope it is.
Matt, so a lot of the work that we've done through HiveMind is being very aware of the fact, like even if somebody's written an article on the Myson blog, that gets attribution, that gets credit, and then it goes into feeding the AI model that we've built in-house. What's the right way to do it? Let's say instead of the 200 odd some members that we have within the network that have contributed to that AI model, think about if we had to do this with thousands and thousands of people. Is there still a way to get it right, or is it the fact that just because you're doing it at scale, you cannot do it the right way? You have to sort of do it by fiat and sweep it all away.
Man, that's a really good question. And it's a complicated answer. I think that, so let's take both sides of it, right? Let's going back to the Twitch example. So on one hand, I think a lot of people are viewing this as an inherently evil thing to do. And I think that Amazon has no choice but to do this. So let's start with that. Like we just talked about how Google is licensing this training data from Reddit for 60 million, and I think OpenAI is doing it for 70 million. And Amazon happens to have stumbled upon this asset that they already own, that they inherited with Twitch, which has all this information and synchronized video and audio and text chat and the how the human talks and the way the reactions and the feedback loop and all of its timestamped together, and it's just all sitting there. And so they have no choice but to do this. And I imagine that they're going to want to do it to feed their data into Alexa, which needs some serious catching up. And they'll probably be using it, I'm sure, at some point to break into the video avatar space for virtual AI streamers, which is going to become a tsunami of controversy when they do. But it's a business decision that they ultimately have to make. I think that the problem and the issue, on the other hand, is that for creators is that creators have no leverage, because there's no like SAG for creators. There's no like overarching kind of union that can assemble the creators at scale and provide leverage against these platforms, right? For the most part, creators are operating and fending for themselves on their own. And I think that's an issue, especially as we get into this new era with AI. And like I said, the inevitable arrival of virtual content creators as well, that these platforms are going to shepherd in. I don't know what the answer is yet at scale for these platforms, but I know that we're not going to get to something that works on both sides until the creator side of the equation finds a way to assemble and get and generate more leverage, because until then, these titans of platforms like Amazon have no reason to make this a dialogue ultimately.
Can I jump in with another point?
Yeah, no, please.
Like, this isn't new. Like, we're talking about streaming now, but like LLMs have been taking data from, as a journalist, but books, the Studio Ghibli issue, the whole internet. So it's not narrowly focused on streaming. We need some sort of agreement on who stands to monetize it, and how can that data be shared in a way that is conscientious, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree, Shane. I feel and even going further back, like if you remember back when, creators first joined social networks, and then a couple of years later, these platforms flipped the switch, and now creators had to pay to access their own audiences that they built up on these platforms. Like, it's been years and years at this point of creators being taken advantage of by these platforms in these kind of critical tech disruptive moments. And it looks like unless we figure out a way to assemble in smarter ways, then we're kind of going to see history repeat itself.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
So where do creators go from here? What is it that they could tangibly do to figure out ways of protecting themselves against, their data and their hard work being utilized in different ways? And this is not a new debate, by the way. This is, age old for as long as it could, as it has possibly existed. And essentially, the idea has been that creators are contributors to a platform, and hence they're beholden to the rules set by the platform. And those rules could be anything. You don't get to debate them. Plus, if you do debate them and you do feel like it's wrong, leave the platform, go somewhere else. But where the hell do you go? Like, think about every single platform on planet Earth is going to do this. If Twitch can do this successfully, although merits of which are debatable, and of course, this is all alleged at the moment. This hasn't officially come out yet. But thinking out loud here, where do creators go? What do they do? Like, do they everybody starts to build their own platforms? That's a little bit bonkers. And if you don't do that and you're beholden to the platforms, then what exactly do you do? Do we go into an era where everybody has their own personal website and they're posting content exclusively on that, maybe like a Patreon or let's say on your personal website, something that you've built, that you host, some apps that you've built, you do it over there instead, and just use YouTube and all these other platforms as distribution layers for you to get you eyeballs. But ultimately, it's all about your own platforms where you continue to post content. That's the only way to protect yourselves. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer to this dilemma is.
Yeah,
But
I mean, this is why I was very intrigued by the Zora platform. If you remember, that came out like a year and a half ago, because the general idea behind it was a social network that was decentralized in its ownership and was owned essentially by the creators, and the creators were able to extract and retain the value that they generated for the platform. And it had a lot of really exciting stuff going on. Obviously, it blew up for a number of reasons we don't have time to get into on the show. But I think realistically, it comes back down to what I was saying earlier in terms of what creators can do. The first thing that they could do is start to there needs to be a SAG. There needs to be some sort of union. There needs to be a collective negotiating power that aggregates the creators, because otherwise you don't have a seat at the table. Individual creators complaining on X are not going to have enough leverage to move the needle when it comes to an Amazon.
yeah,
And I think that's the longer play. I mean, that's like a collective action suit against these companies. But shorter is these competitor channels, ideally decentralized, but have an edge that appeals to the users rather than the content creators. The content creators is the added bonus to it, but you need the users to be convinced, oh, I'm going to move from this platform to whatever.
yeah. The network effect is really, for social platforms, that's all there is.
Yeah,
and think about in the past, we're in 2026. In the past 16 years, how many social platforms have actually come out and been successful at a global scale?
Right.
Barely a handful. And all of those companies now have turned their back. So I think about, if, I'm running my VC mind for a bit, but essentially I think about, is there a opportunity to disrupt this? Because every single person wants to build a social platform. And there are like a bunch of people who want to do it. Some of them actually at smaller scales have been successful somewhat in doing that. There's an example of Style, which was a Tinder for fashion that came out that had a social element in that as well. So it was utility plus social that built the network effect of it, because it was actually solving a tangible pain point that somebody had. So I think about a future. Does everybody start to look at economic utility, and then figuring out how can we build an app that's useful and has a social element and that's rewarding in a large way, that gets people to stay on and build that network effect? But then the question becomes, how do you go up against a Meta or a LinkedIn or Twitter, just by the amount of sheer capital that they have? There have been smaller successes like Be Real and some of these other platforms, but they haven't gone anywhere.
Like when TikTok emerged on the scene, I think that's a good example. It just switched the model slightly. Shorter, snappier.
Yes and no, though, right? Like, I mean, TikTok has been extremely successful for, yes, of course, their algorithm was amazing. But at the same time, I think about how much capital went into making TikTok what it is today. Like, without that, it would have been extremely, extremely difficult. I think about it from a startup standpoint. Like, is somebody going to have the balls to make a social platform that goes up against these people, when even somebody like a Meta fails to get Threads off the ground? So
I guess from a startup perspective, it's a different story, because I was going to say the best chance, I think the most likely candidate, in my opinion, actually, is GTA 6 as the next big because that is
there.
I think we'll see when it comes out, but I think that it is, in a sense, a social. It's almost like what the meta promised to be. I think it's a sleeping giant that no one's talking about, but obviously that is far from a startup. Look, we're in an interesting time where, because of AI, we're talking about all the scary evil stuff, but the good news is it is flattening the barrier to entry to creating these things. And I think there's a good chance that someone will come up with some sort of creative interface that we haven't yet, that we're not even thinking about, that could revolutionize the way we even define what social networks are. It would shock me if that didn't happen in this era that we're entering. But wait and see.
Okay, let's jump on to the next story and call our special appearance number 1. Let's see. Ollie, are you here? Where are you? There you are. Hey, Ollie.
Hello. How are you?
We are very good. There's some noise behind you. Do you want to fix that?
Really?
Yeah.
Right, one sec.
No worries. Take your time. But yeah, I'll jump into the story anyway. So essentially, what's happening at the moment is AI visibility, AEO, GEO, right? We are all absolutely obsessed with the idea of being mentioned by a lot of these LLMs and essentially getting recommended by them, using them as a traffic source, potentially a lead source for different businesses. Now, there are 2 pieces of news / research that I really want to get into. So, number 1 really is the visibility debate that's been happening right now. So I was mentioning Rand Fishkin and a study done by Spark Toro. There is also another study done by Brain Labs. Essentially, the idea is that about 1 in 100 are your odds of being mentioned by an AI. And every single time, no matter what the parameters are behind that, your essential chances of showing up for the same pain point for different people is really, really, really small. And a lot of marketers are essentially now talking about the fact that AEO GEO is essentially essentially SEO in a wrapper. And everything that you were doing for your SEO is what you need to do for AEO and GEO. So I read this story and I was like, okay, that's quite crazy. So yeah, it's 80 to 90% of the same SEO tactics and strategies is what you're doing for AI search optimization. So first off, Shane, what are your thoughts on this? I know you covered I think you covered something similar for AEO GEO, right? On Mice and Learns? Or you're about to. I'm not sure.
I'm about to, yeah.
Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts on this one?
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me because I've seen a couple of companies have been showing me, examples of their Geo product. And the level that I've seen it, it's not particularly satisfying. It's not like very convincing that they have cracked the formula. And yeah, it doesn't. Sorry, Ollie's typing, distracting me there. It was like, it doesn't look like they've cracked the formula. I had that same question that has been raised in this article about, like, if I'm researching the exact same thing as Matt is, we're going to get different answers. And so, how do you position yourself as an AEO company to account for that? Nobody's cracked it. And so there's a bunch of people that are selling AEO services, pretending to be experts in AEO, but I'm not convinced. So this story doesn't surprise me at all. And it's actually I'm quite happy to see that the same tactics you use for SEO are the same as you need for AEO. Makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, and I also think about, like, why this was an interesting piece for me to cover is people are freaking out about it at the moment. Right? Like, oh my God, all I had before was like SEO, and now I need to care about this new thing that showed up. And because of Google AI mode, a lot of people are not ending up on my website. So I need to be even more cognizant of the fact that I need to be completely optimized for the kind of results people are looking for. And now it's gone from keyword-based searching to intent-based searching. But ultimately, it all actually just ended up boiling down to SEO. So if your SEO is great, your AEO GEO is going to be great. And a lot of, so there are a bunch of hot takes in this article, but essentially the idea boils down to anybody who's offering AEO GEO services are bullshitting you because it's nothing different than SEO. What I'm interested in knowing, and Matt, I'll come to you for this one, is essentially think about as a business owner, okay? As somebody who wants your product to be recommended for somebody who has the exact pain point that your product solves. And there are two people that come to you. One's an expert in SEO, one's an expert in AEO, GEO. And they both have results, by the way, right? Which one would you end up picking? Like, is there any market for the AEO, GEO specialist that exists out there?
Well, there's definitely a market right now because it's like the agency version of AI washing at this point, where it's just like you can package a lot of the same skills and services and offerings into a GE and call it GEO that they would be offering in the traditional marketing world, and call it GEO and charge a premium for it, and that'll work. People will buy that. But I think that GEO, my opinion is that GEO is misunderstood because a lot of marketers are collapsing brand and performance into one acronym with this GEO, because if you know what I'm saying, because essentially like performance, on the performance side, you have the like citations and things like that. Like, can ChatGPT find your page and understand it, right, and cite it? And that can be improved through crawlability and, clear quotable answers. Olly actually has a colleague that came up with some creative ways to actually handle your citations. But for the most part, that is just kind of technical evolution of SEO. But that's different than brand, which is what the model actually believes about you after reading what everyone else has to say about you, right? And I think it's kind of a larger, actually, I'll just wrap this up real quick, but I think this kind of comes to a larger topic, which is, for years, I think people have been confusing brand with your brand assets, right? Like, a lot of people think that your brand is like your color and your logo and your color palette and tagline and stuff like that. But in reality, your brand is your reputation, right? And it's what customers and journalists and creators and people like that, Reddit commenters, say about you when you're not in the room, right? And GEO, in a sense, makes that definition operational. So in a sense, I think anyone who's selling you GEO and telling you that they could rank you top 4 on ChatGPT or something is not going to be, that's an imprecise metric. But you can fix your citations like by Friday, but to build an actual reputation on the internet that these LLMs can actually extrapolate your reputation from takes a lot longer and comes into a lot of other disciplines besides just SEO at the end of the day.
One who's in the trenches, on the front lines, talking to different businesses, different scales, figuring out what their AI needs are at the moment. So break it down for me. Are you being asked questions about AEO, GEO when you talk to more veteran marketers who've been in the industry for a while? Are they looking at it differently, or is it just either FOMO or fear, essentially, of the risk that they undertake if they don't look at AEO, GEO seriously? What are businesses saying to you is what I want to understand.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to show some of these businesses what's going on is literally just pulling up a AI, Gemini or ChatGPT. We did this the other day with a luxury hospitality company who were telling us they have like the best rooftop bar in Paris, right? And so we searched best rooftop bars in Paris, and it didn't come up, and it had a beautiful map of like how to get between all of them and how you could make that into like a afternoon cocktail stroll. And they weren't on it. So they told us, yeah, but ours is more luxury than these. So I changed it and put luxury in, and they didn't turn up. They said, well, ours has the best view. So I said with the best view, and it still didn't come up. And then I put in the name of their bar, and Gemini was like, oh, that place is amazing. That's great. And I think this is like very practical ways of showing people what they can do with it. And I think that's a practical way to like show why it matters, and the fact that people are in travel and hospitality, people are setting their itineraries and booking trips. maybe not doing the actual transactions yet with flights, but they're, even if it's possible, that people, are definitely doing the planning stage. And these, that could make a difference between people visiting your bar or not when they're in Paris. On the actionable side, I think there's two things that trying to get across to people and that they're grasping quite easily, even in veterans in this space, as you say, that perhaps weren't AI native and aren't in a company that attracts naturally AI native people like a luxury hospitality brand. One is around building blocks and really thinking like, whatever I put together now as content is what AI generated content is going to derive from. So I can't control necessarily if I'm on that list, or I can try and influence me being on that list. But what I can control is where it's getting that information from, because it's not going to make it up and say I'm like a Star Wars themed bar in Nebraska. It's like, no, you're a rooftop bar in Paris. It's like a fact. I get that fact from your content. So how can you really make sure that you're happy with the building blocks that some of this other stuff is getting built from? And the other sort of like actionable point that seems to resonate with them is that in general, you can think, oh, it's pulling from Reddit, it's pulling from video, and I've got to focus here. Like, as an overwhelming thought, just try and think that the content you're producing for these building blocks, make it as like human generated as possible. Because really, whether it's going to Reddit, YouTube, wherever, what they're trying to do is make sure that they're pulling from authentic content. So put the effort in and look at AI helping with your workflows and your approval process and things, but put the work into making that as human as possible. We had another client who's a lot of their business leans on this new EU directive that's coming out. And they want to make sure they're front of mind. They've got a product that's going to really help people when they have to conform to this directive. And when we put in a search for that directive, just purely that directive, the first thing that came up was a video, which was pretty badly produced, had 112 views, was on YouTube. And that was the first thing that Gemini was like citing with regards to this directive. So, but it was clearly human put together because it wasn't very good at all. And ultimately, lean on human generated content and do the hard work there. Let AI help you with all the other things that could be going on around there. But it's really important that stays human generated if you want AI to like use your building blocks in the right way to promote your brands.
So there is this discussion there is this belief, at least, that essentially with SEO, you were concerned about, yes, you were thinking about referral traffic, you were thinking about the idea of making sure that everything on your website was optimized and answered all the questions, and alluded to the kind of keywords and the kind of intent of the buyer that you're trying to hit on with. With AEO, GEO, the concern has now become that it's not just that, and then it's not just about backlinks, but now it's about the referral traffic from social media platforms, from YouTube, from the other content that you post, PR citations that happen, and in what context those PR citations are also happening. I was speaking to somebody who I will not name, by the way, but because I do not support what he's doing, but I understand, why tactically some people want to get into it. But essentially, he deploys a ton of different websites to negatively impact the opinion of the AI about a specific brand or product. So if you wanted to go up against a competitor, you could essentially flood all these different websites and platforms with negative opinions about the brand, so that whenever somebody searches for what is the best, they never show up. Or they show up in a negative sense. So I think about the real tangible impact that AEO, GEO makes because of its slight broadness to SEO, that maybe that 10% that people have not looked at or not looked into at this moment. And what are the implications of that? So really I think I see all the points that you're making, Ollie, and like how people are perceiving it. I'm just thinking about going back to the idea of forward deployed marketing and how we look at it internally. of getting in experts, embedding them in teams, and really figuring out how to get the best output, how to get the best results out of something. So when you look at that, do you feel like for AEO GEO specifically, like would an SEO expert be able to deliver as much value as an AEO GEO expert, or do you feel like those are two fundamentally different experts and they have to approach the problem in different ways?
I think if I was a marketer specializing through my last few years of my career in SEO, I would want to own that space in AEO. None of this is like, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's definitely figure outable. If you're already in that space around traffic, you have a much better opportunity to be effective if you've got an SEO foundation behind you. And Myosin, our forward deployed marketers, sure, we definitely need them to be able to build tools. And SEO, AEO is an example of this, but I really want them to have a foundational background in marketing outside of AI. And whether that's managing IRL events, whether it's branding and creative, whether it's like journalists, we have people with all those kind of backgrounds. And I find that the element in this AEO or whatever they're looking then to build, whether it's around CRM capabilities, if they have that foundational knowledge, they're much more useful for it. I find it much harder to teach or give people a learning track for how you run an effective IRL campaign or have something go viral, from years that someone like Matt has been working on those things, versus being able to put a track in front of someone like Matt to be like, this is get you certified on OpenAI alongside our Claude certification and whatever those things would be. That's much easier to coach. And I think that this next wave of AI native marketers coming through need to make sure that they are turning to people like Shane and Matt and not just YouTube clips of how to build the latest tooling, because otherwise they won't be able to compete, frankly.
Olly, I remember.
Oh,
sorry, Shane.
I'd be wary of anyone who calls himself an AEO expert at this stage.
Yes.
Reeks of
so the hot take, people, is AEO GEO is just SEO in a wrapper. That's all you need to know. And you should come to Myosin whenever you need help with it. Anyway, I wanna take a beat here and jump into the next story. We've been talking a lot about AI and so on and so forth. Olly, this would be I would really love to know your perspective on it, and especially with the companies that you're speaking with at the moment. When it comes to events, right? When it comes to IRL, what are the discussions that are happening? So I saw this story essentially on TechCrunch about wrinkles that uncovers the hidden stories of places around you. So it's like Pokemon Go, but for real places around you that you might have never known anything about, right? I love that, because it's not, some new AI trick. It's just plain and simple, go out in the real world and experience things for yourselves. And it's almost like you're going on a mini treasure hunt about the places that you cross every single day, but that you never stop to think about what the story behind them is. So, Matt, let me get you on this one. So when it comes to events, like let's say the events that you attend or that you love to attend, I wish I had Vic over here who's the events expert, but essentially when you go to events and when you're thinking about them and you're thinking about that IRL connection that you built, I want to think about it from a business standpoint, because so many times businesses look at events as only a networking tool or as a lead source most of the times. But they really discount the fact that the impact on the brand for a company that does events and does them tastefully is so massive that, even though it's not tangible, even though it's not input, output, ROI calculation, but the impact is incredible. And it's probably going to be a positive one on your business down the road. So talk to me about, on this particular topic on both sides. So from a business side who are thinking about events and as a person who attends events, what makes you feel connected? What makes you think that if I go to this brand's event and they do X, Y, and Z, that's going to make sure that I always remember the fact that I went there?
Yeah. So I think, so first of all, from a business perspective, the reason why we're hearing so much about events is because as AI continues to grow and as most of our lives continue to become immersed in the digital world, we're still human beings and we're still craving these face-to-face connections. It's almost like how in the music industry, when streaming started to explode, we started to see a correlation with vinyl record sales also correlating and exploding at the same time. We're never going to grow out of the need to connect with each other. So it makes sense that we're seeing this demand for apps like this. I think there's a number of things, right? Like people talk about UX and user experience with digital products, but rarely do they talk about a great user experience when it comes to experiential and events. And oftentimes, I think, first of all, a great event that from a consumer standpoint, when I go to them is, number one, is it clear and valuable? Is it clear what I should do when I get to this space? And is that action that they want me to take something that benefits me, usually in a social way, right? Like, is doing this thing going to say something about myself that I could broadcast online or that I could tell people about after the fact that communicates the person, the identity that I want to communicate. So making that action really clear, right? Like, with digital products, it's like, how do you get through the onboarding as seamlessly as possible? But like onboarding when you walk into a branded event is arguably more important. Secondly, I think the most important thing with the events that I love is, did I make a connection or a friend at this event? Because ultimately, I think the best branded events are not really as much about the event or the brand and connecting with the brand, but also using the brand as a platform to connect with other people and facilitate meaningful connections with human beings that share the values of this brand, like I also do. So I think that's kind of where I'm at in terms of the events. I also find this particular app really interesting as well. I guess I'll get into that later.
Shane, what about you? I want to know, from your perspective, because we were talking about this whole new social platform thing. I felt it completely slipped my mind that we have a story about it. But essentially, when you look at social plus IRL experiences and that whole sphere of connecting the virtual and the in-person and getting the best results out of it that make you, as both a business owner and as a attendee of those events, you feel like, yes, this was worth it. This was valuable, the valuable element that Matt just spoke about. But I want to understand it from a virtual plus in-person correlation, and when you see that being implemented, what angle should business really take towards that, and what kind of impact do you think that has on the people attending those events?
I don't know about the connection between the two because I haven't seen that firsthand done very well. But I think with the virtual, novelty is so key. So when COVID happened, there was a lot of events that were hosted online. And if they're just Zoom calls, whatever. But if it's sort of gamified and you have a screen where your character is moving around and then interacting with somebody, I remember feeling tremendously excited about that at the time. Now I would find that boring. But so digitally, it needs to be innovative, and it's a harder sell. For the in-person events, like been to a bunch of crypto events during the bull and the bear, and in the bull there was outrageous spending on things at events that were so fun, but I couldn't for the life of me tell you who sponsored it, who put it on. You go to these events and you just hop around and join the best party. So I think so many companies are missing a trick with that. First, the branding needs to be front and center, really need to kind of show off who it is that's hosting this event. But secondly, and to Matt's point, it's about the connections. And I think some events do that really well, even as basic as having a little sticker on you that says who you are, what your topics of interest are. It's just that sort of thing that gets conversations flowing. Or you could have one of this great event that I attended, you had somebody who kind of knew most of the people who were there and would shuffle around and say, you'd be a great person to talk to this guy, and physically move you there. I don't know how applicable that could be for a company, but you could get sort of themes. What are the topics of interest among these people who've signed up to it? Or other kind of plays on that. Or like, those birthday ideas where you come in wearing different colors and you have to find somebody who has the key that you're looking for, whatever. Something like that could be fun and would really kind of encourage communication and networks.
I love that. Olly, I know we do we're really good at doing events in Myson, by the way. Okay, no shameless plug or promo, whatever you want to call it. But I know, Olly, you're involved in that process. I think we just did a marketing roast at one of the events recently, right? Or am I completely mistaken on that one?
No, yeah, we did, yeah.
We did, right? Yeah. So, talk to me about the curation part of it, right? When we do an event for Myson and we do marketing roasts, or we do some of these, if curated events that are for a specific niche audience, right? The fear that a lot of times people have when putting together events like that, in-person experiences like that, is it's going to alienate a large portion of the audience, right? Or people will not feel as connected to us because we shut the door on them, or we set up the event in such a way where it isn't inclusive per se, right? And you're trying to go really niche down and really specific. So when we curate events at Myson, when we look at them, and when we do it for other people as well, by the way, which is a part of deploying marketers within different teams. So when we look at that, how do we answer some of these concerns? And how do we make sure that our curation is on point?
Yeah, I'm actually okay with that. Like, we ran one event, I think in New York, where it's like a half an hour wait to get in because it was got to 1 in, 1 out. We did some events that Shane's run in Lisbon that it was like shoulder to shoulder, and people are trying to learn how to make AI videos. It's a really cool event. I actually think for Myson often, and like the BD side of a business, talking about the event afterwards and sharing content of it is often a better BD tool than for the people at the event. I think for the people at the event, especially smaller events, should just like really focus on making sure that those people have a good time and enjoy it. And I get what Shane was saying a bit about like the branding and stuff there, make sure they know it's your event. But I like the idea of doing different kind of events, not putting on just some like, this is a happy hour sponsored by Shane Dow, and that's it. And they paid for all your drinks. And you're right, you don't necessarily remember who that is, but doing a different kind of event that the BD team can then talk about afterwards is great. Like, for example, before, when I was living in New York, we did an event where instead of just taking people to, there was the US Open Golf from New York City out on Long Island, and we took some seaplanes and took like 5 clients there, and it was maybe, I don't know, $400 per client return seaplane from Manhattan to the Gulf, and the ticket to go in the Gulf. And compared to spending other money on like a happy hour or so where you just have all these people flooded in, and we were able to, like, we were already selling some business to those people. We were able to then talk about it, and those people talk about it after the event. So I think your BD process shouldn't necessarily think about confined to the walls of being in the event. It should talk about broader. Like when at the moment we're talking at Myson about helping non-AI native industries adopt AI tools, not frontier tech companies that we've have become our bread and butter customers, but companies perhaps outside of that have excellent businesses, smart people in, just don't naturally attract AI native talent. One of the events we're going to be doing in New York is around helping people that by default of being in a family, they're running a family business or part of it, and they probably got a day job, and they're bought into their family business as a second or third generation of that within that business, because the family needs help, and it's what you do. And how can you start using AI to make your family business time, which perhaps is 5 hours a week or more, down to half an hour, or automate it? So we're going to run a very small event for people that are involved in family businesses. We're going to run the event out of a family business, which is a tea shop in Chinatown in Manhattan. And we're going to do a hackathon there to help these people figure out how they can automate things that they are stuck doing as a family business. Now, for me and BD, I don't need to sell to those people that are in that room. I don't really need to get email lists from those people. But I can talk about how we think differently about deployment of AI and use that story of that event in other conversations we have in BD. So I would think from BD, think about the event as a tool you can tell stories about before and after. And I would think for the event itself, just focus on those people having a great time and trying to do a different type of event. We're also going to do a hackathon on a boat in Lisbon pretty soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, like think differently, try and do different things. We did a roast in Lisbon, as you said, CMO roast with some startups with at the AI hub in Lisbon, which is run by their Unicorn Factory Accelerator program. So we collab with other people to do these events, but I like telling the stories about the event rather than trying to sell at them.
Awesome. Olly, thank you so much for tuning in today and giving us pieces of wisdom from the BD side, and really talking about all the amazing things we do here at Myson. We seldom to talk about.
I will leave one other thing that's on my mind, if I may.
Please do. Please do.
Because I don't always get a chance to speak to all three of you at once either. So, or anyone else listening in. But we're hearing more and more about companies that have now deployed AI, that have moved perhaps from individuals using all their own AI tools to like a Claude Enterprise account, to now trying to figure out, well, how good are my people at AI? Like if Shane builds me a really cool workflow, and puts it on my virtual desk on a Monday morning, like I don't know whether it took him 10 minutes on a Friday afternoon, or whether it was something that you spent a weekend on. And companies are really trying to work this. That's like the next frontier that we're doing a lot of thinking with companies out. So I just thought I'd leave that as a thought start for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Olly. Thank you so much for tuning in.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome. Okay. So that's a wrap for water cooler, people. A lot of different stories, a lot of different perspectives. I always love the way all of us have different opinions. Like, I don't know how we do it, but everybody at Myson just has a unique perspective on the same problem. Anyway, calling on our second guest of the day. Drum roll, please. The show.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Hey, yo.
There he is.
Blake is tuning
How we
in
doing?
from a land far, far away, and has been kind enough to stick around, even though it is extremely late
Indeed.
for Blake at the moment. Thank you so much for doing that, Blake. Really.
Oh,
appreciate it.
good. Yeah, always here for my stuff. Good to see you guys.
Awesome. Well, people, it is time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for Gamified. And we go into chopped or bussin'. Well, Blake took the crown the last time, so we had to call him back to set the record straight. Throw him up against a few of the wild cards and Matt and Shane who have shown up on the show today, and test his chops against some more experts. So, Blake, Matt, Shane, are you ready with your pen and papers?
Oh, actually, I should have had that ready, but 2 seconds.
All right, take your time, get your pens and papers ready, and we will get into it.
I can type this out, presumably.
Nope.
Figurative pen and paper.
Nope.
Chopped
Need a
or
pen and
bust?
paper. Yep.
The name of my next mixtape.
Wait, if I need a pen and paper, I need to run as well.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
go get some.
Go
Can you
All right.
can you be so kind as to review the rules?
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Just get your pens and papers, and I'll walk you through the rules. Very
All right.
simple.
Surprisingly difficult to find paper. Smart.
Because we work in AI computers. Paper and a
don't
pen
even-
is hard to find.
We don't even type anymore. We just use our mouth.
I literally just talk to my computer now. Am I gonna have to write on a paper towel?
That'd be the funniest thing ever. Like, please do that.
Might have to.
All right. Acquired.
Awesome. Lovely.
Okay, gents, I might actually.
So maybe you can tell us the rules if Blake's already played it.
Yeah, just run
Yep.
through. I can hear.
Okay, cool. So, Blake, Shane, Matt, rules are simple. All right. Essentially, you'll be shown either a riddle or a set of emojis that represent a brand. All right. You have to guess both the category, which the brand is in, and the brand itself. For guessing the right category, you get 2 points. For guessing the right brand, you get 3 points. And if you guess both of them correctly, you get 5 points. Whoever has the most points at the end of this game is either chopped or busted. That's the game. Awesome. Okay, let's get into our first guess.
Oh, these are way harder.
Oh
No
yeah,
emojis, right?
you wanted it harder, right?
Yeah, I
You were the
spoke
one
too
who said
soon.
it. Okay, anyone can write my story. That's both my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. You have to guess the category and the brand. And Matt and Shane, just as a note to both of you, guess different. If you don't know both of them really confidently, guess a different category and guess a different brand. Hedge your bets, okay? So that you can maximize the number of points you have.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. You got 10 seconds, people. We're on the clock. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Drum roll. Guesses on the screen, people. Write your guesses down, category and brand, and show it to the camera. Okay, let's see what we have here.
I had no clue.
Okay, Matt has guessed what? Matt, you
Social
guessed what?
network and Instagram.
Okay. Social network, Instagram. Shane, what's your guess?
I leaned into the just do it sort of Nike idea. So
Okay.
that's what I've gone for. Nike product.
Okay, Blake has guessed. What's your guess, Blake? I can't
Tech ChatGPT. I have no fucking clue. This is way harder.
Oh,
Also, can we turn the audio down just a little bit? I think the sound
Yeah.
effects are too loud.
That's what derailed us. Otherwise,
Yeah, there
we
you
would've-
go.
Exactly. I was distracted. That's what it was.
okay. Okay, I'll stop the music. Wait, hold on.
I think it's just it's like 20% less loud.
I feel like I'm in a nightclub in Berlin here.
Why cannot I stop it? Okay.
Oh,
Crap.
now there's
Now it's
Yes,
even
man.
louder. Okay. Finally got it. Awesome. All right. On to, okay, so none of you guessed either the category or the brand. Actually, I'll give 2 points to Blake because he did guess the category, right? It's Wikipedia.
Oh.
Blake's at 2 points, Matt and Shane
Okay.
are at 0. Okay.
Give us a riddle again, quickly.
The last riddle?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone now.
Okay.
It's disappeared.
Anyone can write my story. That's his strength and his weakness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
Okay. There's a set of emojis.
Hmm.
Robo, book, chat bubble, and infinity. What's the category and what's the brand? Now I'll put some tunes on. Blake wanted it tough. Blake wanted it to be really not easy. So guys, you know who to blame. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Drum roll. Guesses on the screen, people. Okay. Let's see what everybody has. So we have Shane, who's guessed. I see LLM.
Yeah.
AI LLM? That's
AI LLM?
Yeah.
Those are both categories.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not a
2
brand.
categories.
LLM then.
Okay.
I also wrote
Shane has
Roblox
guessed.
games.
He gets
so
the category right. He
Shane
gets double
guessed
points.
AI, Anthropic,
I put
Mac-
Anthropic.
AI,
Yeah.
and Gemini. Is that Gemini?
You got it. Sorry, I
Gemini
guess
and
I
Anthropic.
got to write backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's okay. That's fine. So all of you get 2 points each. So
Okay.
all of you got the category, right? None of you got the brand, right? The brand is Chat, GPT, or OpenAI.
Yeah.
I almost
So
had that
you were
one.
all very, very close,
But
but just, just a tiny, tiny little bit. Okay.
never heard of it actually.
Here's the next one. It's a box, a wrench, and a really angry face.
Okay, better be what I'm thinking.
Okay, is everyone ready?
I don't think it's this, but I'm still gonna go for it. Yeah.
Let's see. Drum roll. Guesses on the screen, people. Okay. Let's see here. Shane has guessed IKEA.
Oh, good.
Fuck.
Blake has guessed Dropbox. And what's your guess, Matt? I can't read it. Sorry.
Mine is Amazon, and then I went with TaskRabbit. I panicked.
Okay. So, for the first time in the game today, somebody's getting full points.
IKEA.
Who is it?
It's gotta be me.
Shane gets 5 points.
Wow.
It is IKEA.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay, on to the next one. See, I made this extremely hard this time. I'm realizing that. Okay,
Tough, man.
I love it. Okay. So it's a phone, a Cobra, I presume, and wood. So let's see what you guys can come up with for this one.
This one's I'm stumped.
No pun
I
intended.
love everybody's expression on the screen right now. Oh my god.
Hmm.
This should actually be pretty obvious. That's your hint. Okay. 3, 2.
Oh, was it that easy?
1.
Maybe. Okay.
Yes, it is. Okay. Drum roll. Guesses on the screen, people. Shane's still waiting. I want to see Shane's first. Okay, Nokia.
Yeah,
Shane
the millennial game of choice.
What's your guess, Blake?
I think it's Apple. It's a snake and a wood, maybe tree phone.
Matt, what's your guess?
I had no idea, so I put hive mind and then maya.xyz/hive.
Let's go.
Okay, I'll give Matt a point for that integrated promo. Well done,
Fine.
Matt. And
can't get mad for that.
I'll give 2 points over to Blake for the right category. But Shane grabs all 5 this time around.
No way!
And again.
Wait, is Nokia?
Nokia.
Wait, you gotta explain it. You gotta explain how the hell where's the
phone.
snake and the wood?
Snake was the first game on Nokia.
Yeah.
And it's as strong as a piece of a log of wood. So,
right.
Yeah.
The log lost me.
It should have been a brick. Yeah, the wood part is. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that threw you off.
I'd ask you to delete this from the app. This episode. It's not a good look at all.
Okay, I once ran a famous ad telling customers not to buy my jacket.
I got it.
The lore is being tested. The understanding of the lore, brand lore. That's a fun one.
Okay, maybe.
Okay. All right, people. 3, 2, 1. Drum roll. Okay, let's see what everybody has here. So, Shane has written Patagonia. Blake has written.
It's Patagonia.
Blake,
I put Levi's. I'm off. I'm way off. With Patagonia.
Okay, Matt.
But I put fashion.
That's Patagonia.
Patagonia. Okay. Yeah, both of you got it right. It is indeed Patagonia. So
this must be particularly hard for you, Blake, the fashionista of the group.
I know. Patagonia's not really, but yeah.
I should have, I wanted to do this in emojis first, but then I realized that there isn't an emoji for VC. So I was like, okay, that would have been the easiest one. But okay, so we're at the midpoint. Shane's leading. Matt's right behind, and Blake is a little bit behind that. So it's
wait, what are the points? I have 8 on my side. I've gotten all I've gotten 4 categories, but none of the actual ones right.
Yes, you're a little bit behind. We're almost at the edge. We're a little bit over, actually. So this is the last 2, and whoever, the last 2. Okay. Born in a Bavarian town after 2 brothers had a massive fallout. I'll give you a hint, okay? It was a really popular brand at one of the larger events that happened very recently.
That's not a great hint.
That was really helpful. I'm really, Wow.
The vaguest hint.
I cannot be really specific.
No, this is a great story, though.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I'll tell you this. There are 2 brands here. There's not one brand. It's 2 brands. Yeah. So, 2 brands. Okay. Damn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Damn, Shane is on it today.
Shane is definitely on it today.
You're right.
Matt, what was your guess?
I was BMW.
BMW as well. Yeah.
That's an interesting one as well. And Blake, what was your guess?
It was also BMW. I knew it wasn't
Okay.
that one, but I just couldn't think of any other Bavarian brands off the top of my head.
Yeah,
It's like,
I really
but
Shane's
Puma.
Shane's brand knowledge is to
Good.
be fathomed with today.
Bravo,
well,
Shane.
indeed,
Yeah.
it is indeed Puma and Adidas.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm literally
So
running
Shane's-
in a Hyrox tomorrow. And
I think they're the Adidasler brothers.
yes. So essentially, it was one brand at the beginning, and then Adidas was broken into two brands, literally cut by a river in Germany. On the one side is Adidas, and the other side is Puma. So, yeah, it's a very interesting story. Okay. Here's the next one. 4 red circles. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. I think I put. Is it really that hard? Okay. All right.
No, I'm ready. I'm done.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Audi.
Okay. Audi. Matt, what's that?
Now that is right. Well done.
What?
Whoa. That was suspicious. You didn't have your thing up. You got to have it up. Wait, what'd you put?
And you're not getting this one. No.
No, I wrote Watch Myson Learns.
There you go.
Shameless plug.
We like a plug.
Well, Blake gets 5 points, of course. It is indeed Audi.
Fantastic.
Oh, well done.
Here's your last one for the day, people. And I'll do this, okay? Shane and Blake are very close on points. So I'll do this, okay? Whoever wins this round wins the game. It's a wild card. This is
Wild
by
card.
far the toughest one.
Yeah, this could be a lot of things, I feel like.
Yep. Hence the bonus. Hence the fate of the game is on display, people. So get ready to rumble. Matt, if you get this right, you take the game, my friend. No matter the points.
Oh, God.
It's a pretty famous brand. And there was a logo at the. So these are 3 emojis. The 4th emoji would really have thrown it away. So I just took it out. There's a story here. Definitely is. The hints are right there.
And the color is obviously.
Well.
Ready.
Okay.
Get your papers up, lads. All right.
3, 2, 1. Guesses on the screen, people.
Louis Vuitton. No?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Dolce
We
and
have a
Gabbana.
tie. We have a tie.
No, it's Dolce. It's Louis Vuitton.
We have
It's
a
gotta be.
tie.
Dolce.
It is Louis Vuitton. Yes. it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go.
Why? What's the
Well-
logic there?
Because
Well-
Louis Vuitton started making literally that type of bag.
Okay.
That like steamer bag.
Yes.
That specific style is where it started. Then they did handbags. I don't know what the heart is, but the brown
It's
is
the
like
color.
obviously their color.
Color.
Yeah.
It's the color. It's the
Yeah,
color.
yeah. No, I was thinking of it. I was like, is there a reason? I figured it was the color thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of looks like
Okay.
the pattern.
Okay, last one. And I really need someone to come out as a winner now. Okay. So it is a pin. It's a yellow. It's a Band-Aid. And it has a microscope. All interrelated to each other.
Mm.
We're practically in penalties right now, people.
Mm.
We're at a tie. It's all happening here.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I got it, but I'm just throwing one out there.
Okay, ready?
No, Mary.
3, 2, 1. Guesses on the screen, people. Okay.
Health Johnson. I don't think
Health
it's
Johnson. Shane, what's that?
maybe.
Pinterest, because there's a bloody pin
Pinterest.
in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Matt,
but
what's your guess?
I
It's
put
definitely
Pfizer.
health.
You put Pfizer?
Hmm.
Guys, none of you got it.
Ah.
3M.
Okay.
Okay. I have to wrap it up at this point, but I do wanna give you one last shot.
What are the points for if we can't do anything? All right, let's go. Wait, I can't see the full thing for some reason.
named
why
after
is
the
that?
Latin word for blue, I am a high-end audio brand.
So
I should know this. I was a big Latin guy. It's embarrassing. Wait, no.
it has a very interesting story as well of how the name came to be. Because people think it's one thing, but it's actually something else. Anyway. All right, people, for the final round of Chopped or Bussin'. 3, 2, 1. Guesses. People. Okay. Let's see.
Bose.
Matt has written Bose.
Yep.
You've also written Bose. And is that
Azure.
Azure.
Ah,
Is that a brand?
No, it's
We
'cause I
have
speak
to-
Italian
we
and
have
blue
to-
is Azzurro.
we have to
So-
end this at a tie. I mean, Matt.
Well,
and-
no, the points matter. It's just a tally up. Who has more points? That's it. Yeah.
I also put audio brand. Does that count? Does that give me the tiebreaker?
Okay, guys, we're way over time. I gotta wrap this up one. This is
Yeah.
the first time in the history of Chain Reactions Live that we have to end the game at a tie. Matt,
Okay.
Blake, Shane, well played. Well played. All of
GG.
you, fantastic
Good
job
game, gents.
on
Good game.
your brand knowledge. Freaking amazing.
Fun times.
Real
All right.
fun time. Thanks for tuning in, people. This was Chain Reactions Live. And
Look how excited the dog looks on the couch.
my publicist.
I love it.
thank
We'll
you
see you
for
on the
tuning
next
in,
one, gents.
everybody. See you on the
Thanks,
next
Arnaud.
one.
Thank you,
Have a good
Arnaud.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Joe.
Right.